Hi guys, this is Lu Ningwang. Today I want to talk about something that we hardly ever talk about in our life. Before I decided to bring this topic in my video, I asked few people their opinion, and try to figure out if it's okay for me to talk about this in public. Since it's a very controversial topic, a couple of my friends persuaded me not to do this because they're afraid of something I said maybe offended some audience. And I think about it over and over again, and I almost decided to drop this. One of my friends told me a story, and that's just changed the whole thing. I decided to talk about this no matter what, because silence it's not a solution. It's always not a solution, but controversial is. Anyway, the thing I want to talk about this is euthanasia. Maybe some of you know what is euthanasia, and maybe this had already happened to the people around you. It's a way that either painlessly putting to death or failing to prevent death from natural causes in cases of terminal illness or irreversible coma. Euthanasia is a term still new to many of us. It's a Greek term meaning good death. It means self-imposed death in a relatively painlessly and merciful way. Euthanasia is categorized in different ways, which include voluntary, non-voluntary, or involuntary, or active or passive. Euthanasia is usually used to refer to active euthanasia, and in this sense, euthanasia is usually considered to be criminal homicide, but voluntary passive euthanasia is widely non-criminal. Personally speaking, I am a supporter of euthanasia, and since it's very private and a personal choice, I don't mean to interfere in anyone's business. I'm going to talk about my reason as picturing I am very sick right now and I'm going to die very soon. Also, right now, I feel very painful and I couldn't stand it anymore. I think I am willing to choose euthanasia, and there are three reasons about why I make this decision. First, euthanasia can decrease the level of the pain. In other words, I would not feel as same as painful I died in illness. Most of euthanasia drugs are sodium cyanide and potassium cyanide, and those two drugs are very strong and harmful. I will pass it out, even just use them a little, and then the doctor will shoot a little bit but enough sodium cyanide. In this process, and I already lost my mind, my body would not feel any pain but stop working. In other words, I could die in coma rather than spending the rest of my life on the hospital bed, unable to walk, unable to do anything I normally do, and finally die in relief suffer. Second, death will be in my control if I choose euthanasia. A lot of people didn't say goodbye to the people they love and the thing they love. Even they know they're in the last step in their lives, but they don't know when or how. Illness could take them away anytime. They couldn't die anytime. That's the result I don't want to have. I want to say goodbye delicately to the world and face the death as I prepared before. Third, at the end of life, I don't have enough money to pay for the needed medical care, not knowing if I'm going to get any better. In a way, I'm just spending time and money on a situation that wouldn't get better, right? I would like to get euthanasia. Why not do it? I can't end the huge amount of money wasted on the treatment that would help, but worth it instead. Personally speaking, I don't want to be an emotional and a financial burden to my family. Even though still a lot of people think euthanasia is murder, euthanasia always sends a message that life is not worth living. Someone saying accepting what life has brought to us as well as fighting to the end, no matter how hard or painful the battle is, and waiting for the death to come naturally is how you truly die with dignity. Why we talk about dignity? Because when we talk about euthanasia, we always say that euthanasia can give us our death a dignity death, like you're not dying in a very painful situation, you're dying by your choice, and that's how you win the dignity. But some of the people who are opposing this idea, who are against this idea, think maybe waiting for death to come naturally is how people truly die with dignity. After all, it's kind of saying it is better for them to be dead than to live. So we couldn't give up our chance to live until the last second. I will tell a story that one of my friends told me, which changed this whole situation, and the who pushed me to finally do this video about euthanasia. So here's the story. He was raised by his favorite person in this world, his grandma. They are very close, and his grandma is very kind woman. I really love her, and just one day, her grandma has very seriously illness, and she's very sick, and her symptom is she can't actually remember anything. Someday she can't remember what's her name and who is my friend. She just can't remember anything. She even can feel the touching, and she can't tell the difference between hot water and cold water. So she only can lie on the bed, and just spending her life in coma, sometimes in coma, sometimes wake, but can't remember anything. One day she I don't know why, but she got very clearly, and she asked my friends, "Can you put me to death? I want to get some euthanasia. I can't live in this way anymore, and it's just killing me." My friend was very shocking because he didn't know that his grandma actually can be as awake as right now, but he didn't know what he should say during that time. He kept silent, but he just stopped crying and said, "No, Grandma, you should leave, and you should leave for us. We need you. You can't just leave us." And then his grandma just pass out, but just in coma, not dead. His grandma never get that awake as before. So he kept wondering if his grandma actually, that's the only time his grandma could be that awake, and she said something she truly want, but he ignored that willing and be very selfish and just need her to be with him. That's what just he told me, and I don't know what to say to him because it's very personal. It's very private. Only thing I can do is comforting. So he asked me, "Do you think euthanasia is a good idea for my grandma?" I don't know how to say. If I were him, I couldn't say the same thing, like saying, "Yes, grandma, it's okay. It's okay for you to get euthanasia." I couldn't say that to the person I truly love. Because euthanasia is very controversial and personal, I don't want to claim anything today. It's not about persuasion, it's a choice for me. I know this topic is very heavy. I'm even wondering, should I talk about this, even when I talking? But I still believe the only reason supporting us be strong is we know what is death mean to us. And that's all. Thanks for listening. I'm Lu Ling Wang.